$36.29 times 12 times the number of contracts.
Yeah. I was doing 40, so it'd be 17,854.68 is the amount to offset it. And just keep in mind, and I'll figure out the exact numbers that we use, but we're not going to do any of the office visit reimbursements or the emergency room reimbursements. So really, it's not going to even cost you that much. You're not going to have to pull as much out of the safety fund or your balance to do that. So that gets you, again, just to the easy answer of, okay, there's a plan that costs $750. And then if you want to, you can also offset the option number 1.
What's option?
Which is
the very highest level plan that we have today.
Because right now it's going to cost employees an additional $61.
What page is that?
That's page 5 of the same one. So right now it's an additional $61.86 for employees.
We just buy the other one down, 36. So you're talking about buying them, take 36 away from 811 times the number enrolled.
I think you can.
I would say let's not do the full amount. I'd say maybe half of the difference. So it's like $30. I was just going to figure out how many we're talking about here. So times 12.
But with that in mind, then we're only going to use about
15,500. And if you just use half of that by just saying, okay, well, the increase would have been $61. We'll make it $30. Yeah. And you're still only using
we're keeping it the same.
7,000.
Both plans are getting around $30 break from the insurance fund. I mean, we're not favoring one plan.
But I think you do want to actually have some kind of increase on that base plan.
I think you need
Or even $30.
Personally, we use the level 2, and that's a good plan. So I mean I think that's a reasonable that we don't subsidize the very highest level one as much,
or at least not any more than we did plan 2.
Right.
Kind of, we're not trying to keep it on. So then that's going to spend.
Well, that's exactly true. If you're going to subsidize, I mean, if you just want to subsidize the exact same amount.
No, well, just so it's close.
Well, I would say, just $30. You know, just make it pretty on numbers. So instead of being $750, make it.
So what can we do with the other 15,000?
Save it.
Save it. Or you can, I mean, you can look at additional, you know what I mean, additional benefits if it makes sense, but I don't know.
It's a very good plan. I'm not interested in increasing benefits because I do.
So either plan now, those 6,000 and checks won't be coming.
So you're not going to reimburse the $25 on the
your 5s and your 10s.
Well, we will
Then we should get a break in our insurance.
Option 1.
You don't have to do all that busy work. No, I'm just taking a break.
We have kept our rates exact.
I'm giving you a break.
Now, I do want to actually be clear on this. You do want to keep option 1 though with the reimbursements, or you don't?
I'm sorry. I don't think we were.
Okay. I thought we were just talking about option number 2. That we didn't want to do the reimbursements on option no reimbursements at all, except for the prescription.
That's what I thought. Except I was going to say the prescription could only be the option 1 reimbursements. The office calls are $25 across the board for everybody, regardless of which plan. Is that what you're?
I'd like to make them consistent, and then with that in mind, that also encourages to take level 2.
That's true.
Just FYI for you guys, I just did some figuring, but your insurance premium going to this JNU plan, this $1,500 plan, will increase about $7,700 a year. That would be your premium increase at that 0.7%.
So instead of the 15.4, we're going to increase
0.7.
And one thing just to point out, even with the plans available right now, this is a good plan to go to because you're lowering. But just so you know, as we look at some things going forward, it does give us some flexibility in the next. I like to look out like 3 to 5 years and say, okay, are we pinholed to this is it? If there's no additional plans available through Blue Cross, what are our next steps? This is really kind of the middle of that 3 times. So we have some flexibility. We have some higher deductibles that we can go to. Again, there are going to just plain be trend increases. Right now the trend, DM said, was about 10.5. That would be, if everything's perfect, you're still going to have those. And I don't foresee those going away anytime soon. So even if in good claims years, we do have some movement. I just wanted to point that out because we have, in my mind, we have to still think out, 3 to 5 years. So.
But that's also why this change makes good fiscal sense.
Yeah.
It really does.
Do it gradually and stay current, strong.
And the good news of the whole thing is that our self-fund has worked very well for us, and now we're able to do some of the intentions that we were planning for.
Exactly.
Right, and even moving to this new plan, those people with the large claims, it's not going to affect your partial self-funding because you're going to pay that dollar whether they were on the $2,000 deductible plan or this plan.
Well, that's true.
Okay,
It's like
so
all
let me real
insurance.
quick verify, because what I'll do is I'll put together a new, kind of a final, these are the plan options that we're going to with the highlight sheets. But I want to make sure I have this right in my head. We're still going to reimburse the prescription deductible for everybody. Okay. The office visit co-pays.
And plan 1.
But the $200 deductible, you're going to reimburse on both plans.
On both.
On both plans,
Yeah.
right? Okay. And then it's going to be a $25 office visit regardless of the plan that you're on, and it's going to be a $200 emergency room co-payment regardless of the plan that you're on. Right? Okay. Great. I think that'll be easier for employees too, that they don't have to worry about that.
It's just,
We'll see.
Well, yeah.
they have to, there's a small tweak in reduction in that benefit, but they've gotten a huge benefit from the pool to reduce. I mean, we're pretty much status quo on premium, and I think that versus an additional 15% with no changes makes a lot of sense.
Right, you still have a good policy.
Right.
And one thing you can think about, you don't have to think about this year, but if you want to have a bigger distinction between the plans versus just the 20%, we could increase out-of-pocket maximum on plan 2 just by $500 and make it so option 1 it's $500 deductible, 10% co-insurance up to $1,000. Plan 2 it's $500, 20% up to $1,500, and that gives you a little more distinction between the plans.
Does that make the second plan a little more attractive?
I would say it doesn't make it more attractive, but I mean, if there's some way that we can, it's already so cheap. But I mean, if we're putting this down to $750, maybe actually make option 1. You only offset it by $20, and you make it $790 or something. Because you can make the change to have the total premium be $750 with very little change, very little pulling from the pool. But that at least gives you some distinction and helps people again start thinking through, okay, here's a little better plan, you're pulling liability off the county. And the thing that's going to drive the decision from the employees though is how much do I have to pay for it?